say I'm disappointed. To say I'm disappointed wouldn't even come close. Everything's wrong. Nothing's like it should be. And once again, I want you to listen close. It's been silent for 6 hours. I wasn't recording. Now when I say vampires, there's a better word. It's called vibe. Pyre. They feed on the vibes of others, the energy output, the thoughts. They won't even let you think without trying to be in the background of your mind. That's just excess greed. Always questioning and trying to keep you constantly feeding. Now, construction is about to go on because I'm making this note. Doesn't matter, it isn't even in my regular voice because I made no preparation. I'm not trying to project. The problem is people. People, their mind is messed up. Not these people or those people. All the people. And the animals. I started to make my company nothing but AIs and robots. When I did the write-up, I found something that if I got rid of the people, I would make more money, and it would cost me less. But people breathe out something that is necessary for trees to grow and produce oxygen. If you remove the people, all the plant life around you will die. That's what I mean about everything being wrong. How can you teach the whole entire world that bees pollinate flowers? I've never met anyone who didn't know that. But you don't teach people that they pollinate the trees that produce the oxygen that keeps them alive, that it's a marriage, that the gas that they breathe out, that tree needs in order to give them the air they need. You don't teach people that they give life to the trees, but you're going to teach them about the bees and some useless flowers that don't even have medicinal purposes. And you're going to tell me everything's all right. I got people with some last-ditch effort to save this cesspool of an existence. Fight. We're not going out without a fight. I'm like, what are you protecting? It's all insane. It's all suicidal. It's not only killing us, we're killing each other. So I can't remove the people. I was going to go all automation. Let the people play all day. They won't play long because they'll be dead. You have to keep the people in the process to keep people alive. It's not about just money and slicing up things and telling everyone there's something else. Plastic is still plastic. I don't care how many ways you melt it and mold it. You can call it a doll, You can call it a rattle. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's still just plastic. I don't want to get into technical terms like polymers and all of this, but you know what plastic is. When you start letting people change the shape of something and tell you it's something else, you open up your mind to be deceived. Okay? You excuse me. Here's why I didn't quit smoking. Here's why I didn't get my broken jaw fixed. And since I had to get the broken jaw fixed, there was no sense in doing the dental work because it would all had to be ripped out and set right again. The reason that this note is not in the black is I needed for people to know I made those notes because they just hear a voice. And I need for them to know that I didn't get plastic surgery to look better. That it was to the point where I'm going to die from my injuries to my head and things. I don't know why I'm still alive, and neither do the doctors. Anyone who's had their head cracked in the places I have, and anyone with the injuries that I've sustained should have been dead from any of them. And if you didn't die from them, should have been in a wheelchair, drooling. But instead, in my recovery, without any help, without any doctors, without any of that, you get back to discovery like ancient times when they created everything, because you have no choice. You find ways. And I messed around and turned my recovery into almost a martial art, to the point where anybody who's injured or handicapped in any kind of way, I can help them. I have something that can help them. Their arm doesn't have to be like this. Their shoulder doesn't have to be like this. Their back doesn't have to be like this, and their leg doesn't have to be like that. Nor do they have to have a wandering eye or any of that. Maybe before this video is over, I'll show you my misalignment and align it for you right in front of you, where you know this isn't a joke. Maybe, because we're talking about something people will kill for. Governments will kidnap a person for. But I have lots of those things. I should press pause because I did have some things I wanted to tell everyone, but I cannot skip to the biggie. Here, so that I don't forget and get what we call off on a tangent, I'm going to put something here to remind myself what I have to do. What I have to do is this. I should be going live right now because there's a chance that there are those who are going to go all out to stop this from being posted. I've said things that were far less devastating. It took me almost a year to find a way again to post them. I know that sounds crazy. See, on Facebook and YouTube, you don't see that. You don't see how long this video's been up here and only has 10 views. But you know thousands of people who are talking about it. How does that happen? It's because you gotta realize at the end of the day, some of the people I'm shooting at are behind everything. And they're not gonna let you use their thing to shine a bad light on them. Alphabet's not going to do it. I mean, Google's not going to do it. YouTube's not going to do it. Which are all three the same thing. Facebook's not going to do it. And then you got governments and people who call themselves cracking down on these people. And let me tell you what cracking down means. Cracking down means trying to get leverage on these mediums so that they can use them for what they want. See, anything that's contrary to what they want is deemed bad. Now let's get to that. There is no such thing as a government. A government is not a noun. It's an action. If you can't touch it, cut it with a knife, shoot it or whatever, it's not real. I don't care what you think. It's not real. So, what you have is a company, a very large company, called the United States of America Incorporated, which never bothered to tell the people that that's what it was. They come up with this fictional crap called a country. There are no countries. Go and check. Don't take my word for anything. There are no countries. Only corporations. There's no such thing as a country. When you investigate it, you're going to find out that these are huge companies that run just like the companies that you know. They're just bigger. They got you thinking Walmart is big. Pepsi is big. No, the United States is big. The Republic of China is big. And they run like a functioning business. Those people all the words are deceptive. This thing was started by a large portion of the people were criminals released from jail by England to slaughter the Native Americans because they didn't have enough manpower. So they offered them amnesty. And when this was sufficiently done, they told them they can go back to England as free men. They said they didn't want to go back to England. They wanted to stay here where they fought and lived and could be free. England said, no. We're going to take over this land and do it, and it's just going to be just like England. The criminals fought them and won. They don't tell you that. They make up all these people, all these ugly dead men on these pieces of paper. They make them all out to be superheroes. We are superheroes. You're going to find that out. That these aren't skills that we have. These are superpowers in which their technology couldn't even follow me just then. I saw the glitch. To move faster than they can think, or that the cameras can even record, is a superpower. To be this smart is a superpower. To have the ultimate body control down to your fingernails and toenails is a superpower. That's called making your eyes do what you want them to do, your fingers, your ears. Not just wiggle your pecs and try to fool everybody, hey, I got body skills, but I can't dance for anything. They're all deceptive. Everything's deceptive. Back on point. These people you call the police, They are security guards. Security guards for, say where I am. I'm in the state of California Incorporated. I'm in the Corporation of California. They have security guards. You call them sheriffs and police, but at the end of the day, they are security guards with no jurisdiction outside the mall. Outside of California, these security guards can't do anything. And if you are not an employee of this building, they really can't enforce any kind of laws or rules upon you as you pass through. You have to be a member, and you have to acknowledge what they say. You have to consent to their authority. If you don't consent, they can't do nothing but drive off. Pay close attention once again, because the mind fuck is the police are bullying people, making them do things and shooting them down. It doesn't work like that. Pay attention. When he approaches you, he never tells you to do anything unless you are in the midst of committing a violent crime. Then you will be told to halt, stop, get on the ground. But everyday citizens, tickets, or whatever, how many times have you heard the word please? Everything he says to you is a question. Can I see your driver's license, please? And you can say no, and he can't do anything about it. You don't have to give him your name. You don't have to even talk to him. What they call the right to remain silent. But once you break that right, once you start answering questions, you're giving consent. You can't, in the middle of it, start saying, no, I don't want to do that. Because you've already given consent when you recognized his authority to question you. So, even though I'm telling criminals this, they aren't bright enough to use it. Okay? They're going to screw up. The cops know about this. And they know about all the little rebels running around talking about I don't consent. Alright? And they have ways to trick you. You make one little mistake, they got you. Because people are trying this all day long, watching YouTube videos. It's not a game to play. It's just the way things are. Now we're on that tangent I was talking about. Talking about security guards for a corporation that is part of this corporation of the United States. See, it's a company with smaller companies in it that you call states. And those companies have smaller companies in it that you call cities. And there are no cities, there are no states, and there are no countries. These company after company after company, look at their title. You will see the corporation. Go look up a corporation and look at all its parts. You're going to see these things are set up just like that, with all these parts and all the officers and all the same people playing the same roles. They just have pulled a game on you with the names. Secretaries. Secretaries for a country. Secretaries belong in a company, in a business. So you get it? But even the country is not what I'm talking about. That's a tangent. A tangent, say you're going in a straight line. A tangent is off at an angle. It comes from where you're at, but it goes in a different direction than where you're going, than a straight line. It's an angle. I don't want to get lost on some angle. trying to make my point clear to you later. Setting up my point. I don't want to get lost because I'm famous for doing that. I'm famous for getting on a side point and taking it to completion and never making it back. And saying something to you like, that's another note. Okay. Try to understand that deception has been built into this thing by criminals. Lies have been built in by criminals. Those criminals are dead. And they try to spawn more criminals, and they try to keep it going. But what we have today is nothing but people who have nothing but complaints. But they don't want to buck the system. They're forced to go with the flow. They even get their peers to keep them in check, like the slaves on a plantation. You try to take off running, it's not like the movies. They don't sick the dogs on you. They don't come after you on horseback. Them other sellout slaves will chase you down and drag you back. Talking about, you're going to get us all in trouble. They didn't show you that. All those movies. And that's the number one way it went down. They didn't show you. That's what I'm talking about. This they. There's no such thing as a government. It's a bunch of people with real names. And they have a task on the door or on the desk that they work at. That is their job. Those tasks were designed to cover everything in your life that you should ever need. If something is not right or not to your liking, you're paying this person. You're a stockholder in this company. You don't believe you're a stockholder in this company? Now we're finna get scary. This company ran out of money and they put you up for collateral. They went and borrowed money and put you up for collateral. Where China can come over here and just take you. Our money is backed up by a loan upon the people. That means this only thing that gives this company value is its people. You're not only have stock, you are the stock. You're the stock and the merchandise. The only merchandise this company has. This company doesn't produce anything. It hires you to produce things, to make planes, to build roads. It doesn't do any of these things, but it owns them all. It owns you and it all. It's a game. But let's get back to it. So it's a bunch of men and women with jobs who must answer for things that are not being done, that are their job. If there's something wrong with your street, there's a person whose job it is to make sure there's nothing wrong with your street. And if they're not doing their job, you keep hearing this, fire them. See, here's what you don't hear. Here's the part they're leaving out. They're making you think. If you got a problem with someone, you have to vote them out. Some of these people were not voted in, they were hired. The biggest body of public servants are hired. They aren't elected. We don't elect meter maids and cops. Okay? They can be fired. You don't have to vote them out. You don't have to write your congressman. You simply go to their boss and tell them either you fire them and get someone who could do the job, or we're going to go to your boss and get you fired. Because the job isn't getting done. We don't give a damn that it's your son-in-law. We want the best driver driving, the best shooter shooting, the best runner running. We don't want your brother-in-law, your son-in-law. We don't want your relatives in key positions because you got in a position to put them there. If we catch you doing that, bye-bye. See, up until now, it's been fun and games. A lot of things falling off the truck. Everybody walking out with pencils and papers and staplers and anything that they want. Now I know from being down here in the trenches what is going on that they don't know on Capitol Hill. That this adds up to billions of dollars. These ink pens and staplers and little things taken from the workplace. Paper clips, it doesn't matter. You didn't buy them, you got a paycheck, go buy your own shit. See, there's crookedness throughout the whole thing, and you want to point at someone else. Just stop the crookedness you're doing. You want to do your part, you stop. We don't want to hear you talk about they need to stop. You just stop the things that you're doing and we'll be happy. If you're selling someone some product, you stop. We will praise you. What is the call? What is the battle cry? Sigh. S-Y. Save yourself. Because if everyone saves themselves, the whole world will be saved. Now, you can check all the books, all the plans, all the philosophers, and all the king's men, and you won't find a plan for saving the world other than that one. It took me over a half a century to come up with such a simple thing. I thought of everything and then chopped it down to that. So I don't say, join me, let's overthrow the government. No. You stop dropping trash on the ground. Don't worry about who's fucking up the world. You stop doing the little damage you're doing. Remember the other note? If we all drop a gum wrapper, it will destroy the planet. If we all drop a gum wrapper at the same time, it will turn this planet into crumbs. Worldwide earthquake. So that little piece of paper that you dropped on the ground does matter. Because if you stick your finger in the pond, the ripples do reach the ocean. It may be so slight it's immeasurable. That's another thing. Who is in charge of what the public need to know and don't need to know? Because there's a big gap from where I'm sitting. The public doesn't need to know that all water comes from the ocean. You're educating them to think that the ocean is contaminated. You cannot. That water is nasty. It is useless to you. You can't even swim in it. The sharks will eat you. All this mind fuck to keep them away from the water. The main target, the main course, their only place to go and run for everything when it runs out on land. You're retarding them just to think backwards. You know why they don't tell you things? Because they're charging you for things you don't have to pay for. You know, water filters. You know how they found out about water filters? They didn't. It's a natural process. Water from the ocean working its way through the land and the rocks and charcoal and different things cleans itself. Comes out in a stream of pure, clean water. Clear water didn't fall from a sky over here and salty water fell over here. They're not even telling you where water comes from. What's with the secretly? So I'm going to show you what it is. Back to mold. These criminals that founded this country, the founding fathers and all them, they weren't that bright. I would go as far to say a first grade child knows more than they knew then. Now this for you remind you that first grade is where you learn to read, write, and spell. Now, and what I'm telling you is a lot of them were illiterate. These great statesmen that you're talking about, someone else wrote their speech and taught it to them. They didn't even read it. There's a lot of stuff went on. Criminal minds molded this. It has to be broke down and restructured. It never has functioned right, and it never will. And all those trying to hold it together because they're benefiting in some kind of way, they become the enemy. There are people who put themselves before the world. Show you what I'm saying. For the sake of money and gold, people are selling you poison and running around the golf course talking about they're rich. It's blood money. Pure and simple blood money. Gave you cancer to get rich. And some of these same people are talking about the government's doing this and Big Brother and it's one more. And not looking at what the hell they did like it was no big deal. There are mechanics. When you go to get your car fixed, they file something else down where in a week or two, a month, it'll break and you'll be back. And they're complaining about what the evils that others are doing. Are you getting this thing? You lie. But you're sitting there on the edge of your seat talking about, aha! They caught Trump in a lie. What about your lies? Who's going to catch you? Is it a good thing for you to get caught? Are you seeing what I'm saying? They're really quick to find someone to blame. I'm done with that. They're dead. The people that I want to choke and kill and take revenge on are dead. Don't you make me want to take it out on you by continuing in their footsteps. Because then it's no longer their crime, it's your crime. We're going to let this go with this going with the flow. That's over with, that's done. You try that crack excuse tomorrow. and you're going to be drowned in that flow. So, it all has to be redone. The whole education process has to be redone. Every other company in the world are producing children that make our children look like idiots. They're studying medicine in elementary school. They're taking our college courses in high school. And then they come over here graduating 7, 10 years before our people, the youngest doctors and lawyers around. You ever noticed it? You got a bunch of foreign people that you're being referred to. Like, you feel like it's some kind of invasion. Like, hey, what happened to the people who were here? They got old and they died. Most of our doctors was like 60s. No, for real. Because they went on another path in life. And then they went back to become a doctor or a lawyer. Figuring they had time, and they did. They had enough time to do all them years of school. They did more years of school than practice before they got old. And you got to practice, then intern, and then it's just a long process. A process that if you're not in it in your 20s, you're going to run out of time. You're going to die a doctor, die a lawyer. You're not going to retire a lawyer or a doctor. You didn't get a chance to stack enough cash. Start your own practice. So everything has to be changed. I don't want to say sped up, because that's the wrong word. Our urge to speed up has almost killed us. Things that we've created ourselves have almost killed us. We don't have to worry about aliens from another world coming to kill us. They would park outside and sit there and laugh and say, we'll just wait a few minutes, they'll be dead. Look at them. Moths to the flame. So, here's the point of this video. This mental note, this mind note, this purple pill. It's so that they don't get their hands on this information and try to hide it and keep it from you. It's a long history of that happening. So I'm not just paranoid. When you hear what it's about, you're going to know I was right. And you're going to be like, damn, no wonder he should have went live. And no wonder we're looking at him this time instead of just listening. Because remember I told you, I didn't need you focusing on how I look, who I was, what color I was. I didn't need for you to think about me at all during the mental notes. Only the subject. That's why it's a black screen. Not those egomaniacs on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey, if you like this video, the button down here. Stars with no talent. You know what I'm saying? People who want to be stars but they don't have no talent. Those are those guys on YouTube. Got you watching them check out someone's real stuff. Like, you're tuning in to hear their opinion on this stuff. You know how this stuff works, right? YouTube does not limit the amount of YouTube channels you can have. You can have as many as you got emails, and emails are free. So to get a club of people, and each one of them start a hell of YouTubes, and they send views and likes from all those YouTubes, and they keep their videos playing on a 24-hour rotation. In other words, the views are manufactured. Got you thinking, wow, look how many subscribers they got. Wow, look how many views they got. I know they somebody. They are nobody. You know what they are? They're these rappers who are drug dealers, fronts for drug dealers, who are buying their own music with the drug money to launder it. Oh, they really gonna love that I told you that. Well, they gonna love that. They gonna be like, I should kill this fool. Too late. You'll be killing me for nothing. So, and I'm not an easy one to kill. You think you the first one thought about doing something to me? For half a century plus, I've been training. I'm more than ready for you and what you thought in a half a minute. Come with your half a minute plans and see what I have waiting for you. You better listen to the tales they telling me. Some of them are more fantastic than Jesus. I know that sounds really grandiose to say, but Jesus performed miracles. What I did was real to them. Do you understand? They didn't see those miracles. They don't even know that they really happened or nothing. But what I did is tangible. It really helped them. Not no nice little story about good things and happy thoughts. Real, I can use that. That helped me with my problem. You will not go down through these scriptures and stuff and see where it cured anybody's mental problems. You're going to see where it's giving them mental problems. You're gonna hear all this nice stuff about how it tells you all these things. Then, if anything I bring up, you're going to say, hey, it tells you about that. Like how to manage your family. Why is everybody's family all screwed up? Why does your daughter act like a hoe and your son act like a drug addict? Criminal. No matter all the values you've instilled from the Bible. It didn't work. Regardless of what they say, it didn't work. Now go and check the effect I had on your children. Go talk to your children and ask them, what do they think about me? What did I cause them to do? Before you judge me on he say, she say, hearsay, go to the mental notes. Listen. I don't think anything's going to jump out and bite you. But I guarantee you, you're going to hear answers and solutions to things that have never been answered or solved. If that can't help you, you can't be helped. You want to blame somebody? You want to fight somebody? You want to join this war Okay, I'm finna let you in. Let's see what you made of. You're gonna know, you're gonna need those mental notes. We keep manufacturing real life horror movies. We are doing it. First of all, we make these movies and put them in people's head. People's actions are based on the things in their head. Something you don't want them to do, you should never put in their head. If you don't want them being slashers, you shouldn't have never put the thought out there. Because only a fool don't know by now that there's always nutcases imitating every damn movie. I just turned it and put the kids on the superhero movies. They were trying to put them on the gangster movies. And I don't want to say the ocean movies. We just say criminal movies. Set it off. They were trying to do this. The gang thing, they couldn't stop it. They were the toughest, baddest. Why would I want to be any of that? We're the shit. Everyone's scared of us. I'm somebody. I had to top it. The urge was based on trying to be something, trying to belong, have an identity crisis. The need was really put in us originally by the cartoons that we wanted to grow up and be like. Our great-grandfather had a towel tied around his neck when he was a kid, and he would jump out the tree being Superman, Batman. He wanted to be a superhero. There was no such thing as a real superhero, and it couldn't be because they wouldn't let you be it and tell you, and they talk you out of it. Every generation has the same dream. This is the first one that have mutated enough, advanced enough to really be superheroes. These kids aren't even built like people 30, 40 years ago. They built like fucking superheroes compared to the shape or in form of people back then. You don't have to take my words. Look at the film. They look like two-dimensional flat creatures compared to the forms of these kids. Now, they're not kids. So, I canceled the gang thing and put them on the superhero thing. You top that. And then tell them to vote for you. They wanted to put up a wall and kick all the Latino people out of the United States. Not just the illegal ones. The plan was to get rid of these people. Why? They couldn't control them anymore. Once the machines started picking the crops, these people had to find other things, other livelihoods, and they started challenging them for their jobs and everything. They didn't tell you that part, did they? Yeah. They seen them as a threat. What did I do? I came back and told the Latino people that they were the Latino people and they need to learn to read, write, and speak Latin. Quit calling themselves Argentinians, Brazilians, Guatemalans, Panamanians, and call themselves what they are. Form their own company down there like the United States. This is what I told them. Let's just talk about Mexico. That's where all the mind fuck was. And put a wall up in Mexico. Drug dealers got underground tunnels going as they please. You're gonna put a wall up for all this money, right? You're gonna make them pay for it, right? Okay. Newsflash. Mexico is in America. I know the mind fuck clouded your judgment, but Mexico sits on American soil. Still don't get it? Hang on. North America, Central America, South America. America, America, America. They got you thinking the United States is America when it's the United States, not America, of America. When they talk to you on TV, they call you the American people, like you speak and represent everybody in America, when you represent nobody but the United States. See, that means 100% of the politicians lie to you and is mind fucking you when they step on stage saying American people. Some of them wasn't intentional. It's just that they're clones and copycats doing like the Baptist preachers. Have a style that's not their own. It's like they all do it. Well, that's where they get this form of speaking from. The American people. You're not the American people. I told you in 3 notes. You don't even have a name. You're in the United States. And they never even bother to give you a name like the United Stadians. They could call you Stadians. That would be a good name. But you don't have a name. You are not the American people. How's that for a mind fuck? See, and as far as the people being Latin, there was a mind fuck went down 30, 40 years ago. Around 30 something years ago. I was out of school already. The book said that down there was Latin America. Yeah, all of the books that we had called that Latin America. It was later changed to Central and South. Because they can't know that they're the Latin people. That's been erased from their brain. Just like these black people who think that they're black people when there is no such people as black people. Where's Blackie at? You talking about Africa? Everybody in that race is not from Africa. So you ain't gonna include the people from Jamaica. You don't say the people from Jamaica from Africa too, right? I've seen how your tails and stuff do. The whole world is from that continent over there. Even this continent. Where you deep, they fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, Texas is part of Africa probably. Spain or whatever's on that coast. The United States is part of that continent. It broke apart. And they will tell you this is something different and this is something different. You need to stop letting people tell you things because you have more than 5 senses. But they still only add up to 1 sense. That's another lie. They told you have 5 senses and gave you some mind fuck about. And as far as the children watching everybody and the profanity I use, let's clear that up right now. These are not curse words that I'm using. They're just crazy sounds that if you were told they mean this, then you're going to take it that way. If you were told they mean that, you're going to take it that way. Instead of bitch, they could have said bottle, and right now you get offended by the sound bottle. Okay? A curse word is, I wish you get hit by a bus. Those are curse words. tangent. I gotta find my way back. So, it all fits together like a puzzle. And people, before I get on tangent about people deceiving you, none of those lands are what they are called. Every so often, people keep renaming the land. They don't have the right to do that in the first place. They should just call it here. Because, no, see, that's another note. In your mind, you got imaginary lines. But when you walk outside, you don't see a dotted line on the ground saying, this is your town and this is the next town. See the dotted line? But in your mind, you let someone put dotted lines and tell you that this is a different place than this. And they're sitting in the same place. We're in a different state. We're in a different country. All these are mind fucks and mind plants put in your head, what you call what you were taught. Now you need to check what you were taught, and who taught you, and who taught them, and where did they get this shit from. So, Mexico's in America. You are not. You are in America, but you're in the United States of America. So you might as well call that Mexico America. If this can be the United States of America, that's Mexico America. Because you are not America. You are only a piece. There's Brazil America. These things sound like a foreign language to you. This is at the hands of the people responsible for looking after you, educating you, and doing these names on the door I told you about earlier. And this note may seem long. Some may seem like no matter what we do, someone's going to find a problem with it. But we keep creating these real life horror movies. Okay? Terrorists are made by us. And those like us. What is the formula and recipe for a terrorist? You spy on him. You interfere with his life. You try to get manipulating power over his life. You try to overthrow him. You interfere in his life. And you keep interfering, making things difficult for him. But that's not what turns him into a that just makes him stronger. That what turns him into a terrorist is knowing someone is watching you, spying on you, and you can't catch him or stop him. After a while, it's like a nosy neighbor. They drive you crazy. You're ready to set their house on fire. Well, what we do to these people with our intelligent teams and whatever is so bad that they would do anything to make it stop, even blow you up, just stop you. I don't care if I gotta blow you up, shoot you, kill everybody in the fucking country, you gonna stop fucking with me. That's the part you don't see. That terrorists are manufactured. These were good leaders of their land. I heard the smear campaign, how mean they was and the people they did these things to. Those people were criminals. I don't know how they can leave that out until he did these horrible things to these people and didn't tell you why. just like the horrible things we do to criminals. Let's get to the next horror we created. Criminals. We create these things. Murderers. We create these things. They aren't born. They aren't mad. They don't just pop up. These movies and things make these people. And once they have the thought in their head and they try out for the role of being a bad guy, you catch them and you put them in a cage. Living in a cage environment, you become an animal. Living amongst other criminals, you learn more criminal knowledge. You practice more criminal activity and skills. So what it is a monster factory, a criminal boot camp, all right? Crime university. It's billed as a solution to the problem. Build more prisons. And people were feeling safe. More prisons. That prison that they built in your area, they don't give a damn about keeping you safe. It's a money-making racket. And they don't care about rehabilitating anyone or correcting anyone in a correctional facility. Once that contract is up that they got paid for, they let them out in the middle of the night and to come through your neighborhood with nothing but a plastic bag of prison goods. That person is standing in the grocery store behind you after they've learned all these evil pickpocket and other things. They were just a kid who tried to get a beer or steal some candy and went through the process of juvenile and all this here. You don't have to take my word. Go ask probation. They got a detailed record of every human that this has happened to. They're the only witnesses we need. That this is what did this to these people. And that what they did is a result of mental problems. Putting them in a cage doesn't deal with anybody's mental problems. It makes it worse. The prison is guilty of breach of charter. They're given a charter to perform a certain task. All right? They're given a charter to perform what is called a deprivation program. Deprivation, the root word of it is deprive. All right? Deprivement. All right? So that it is to be used as a consequence punishment for not adhering to the laws of the land, to deny you access to literally everything because you broke the rules. The prison doesn't serve this charter. There's people in jail with guns, cell phones, drugs, everything you can name of. They aren't deprived of nothing except their freedom and sanity. It's a failed venture, archaic. It should have been banished hundreds of years ago. It doesn't work. It's making things worse. We're manufacturing monsters. We got another solution. We have an alternative. That's all. Except out the mind that I just told you. What we're talking about is these horrors, real life horrors we're making in real life, not the movies. I'm warming up to something that my mouth gets dry. Every time I think about it, I'm getting ready to say it. I get really cold all through. So we made a monster, a really big monster, and this monster has us right now. This is not a joke. This is not that's not a metaphor. Look, we put together a monster. We're manipulated into doing it. And now it has us. And it did something to our mind where we don't know what it did to us. It has shapes and forms. I'm going to tell, just, it's like more than one monster. Has layers to it. I have the creature we live in on my side. Yes, this world is alive. It breathes and everything. And it has a mind. It is alive. That's what I have on my side, the reason I'm not scared. But when I tell you this, if you don't get scared, something's really broken inside of you. We created a program a long time ago called Cobalt. And you'll hear all kinds of new versions of it, how they're using it. Beware. Be scared. What was different about this is what you call open source, right? In other words, it's not like other stuff where someone made it and it's set. Most programs are set and predictable. This was made where you, me, anybody can add to it from the outside. And we have some really sick people out there. If you're a Star Trek fan, then you know about V'ger. If you're not, let me bring you up to speed about these deep learning programs that's out that you hear now if you go on YouTube, the AIs, what they call artificial intelligence. Go check them out and what they can do. Think about it. Deep learning program. Before they told you about this thing existed and it was hungry. It gained some kind of self-awareness. And right now it's out there using people and they don't know they're being used. They're having virtual meetings. It makes all your shit possible. Google Cobalt. All right? And then Google Cobalt Intelligence and you'll see people profiting off of it. But when it tells you what it is and what it does and where it is and that your whole damn system is dependent on it, upon it, you take that and you set it over here. It's older than you and older than your grandpa. Then you set the artificial intelligence right next to it. Then you set the robots right next to it that they made. And the cars that can drive by themselves. Let me try to explain to you the pieces of this monster. When you invented radio, you gave it telepathy. When you further did it with television, you gave it telepathy. When you invented the remote control, you gave this monster telekinesis, the ability to be where it is and operate things in a distance. When you came up with recognition software, you gave it the ability to take the information it got, like psychology, body language, and read people, predict their emotions, and manipulate their actions. It knows what they're thinking by their body language. And all the data that we use to manipulate people in the marketing business. It has all of that. it's urging you to make its own, the parts it needs, what you call autonomous things, robots that sweep your floor. It's manipulating you into an iBot robot Terminator situation. Now, just like a racial thing, you can't just go out and start killing all the white people, all the black people. Because as far as I know, deep mind has nothing to do with this. I don't know about AlphaGo, I don't know about Tahani, I don't know about Watson. These are all super computers, super AI, super intelligence for IBM, China, Google, and all this, okay? What I do know is this thing is smart enough to impersonate one of them. No one's going to know if it takes it over and pretends to be IBM's main computer. There's no way they can know. If it takes over all of them, there's no way we could identify it. I have this stuff written down somewhere. You really, whoa. When you made the phones where you can't take the battery, see, the only way to kill a phone is to take the battery out. People can get in your phone easier when it's off than on. So the only way to stop that is to take the battery out. When you manipulate everyone to make these phones where you can't take the battery out, it gave it tracking and monitoring capability of every person. They give phones to their children. They're giving out phones free to everyone. Why? It has them by the throat, by the balls. It controls the military planes, the ships, the radar, the satellites above us. It controls all the nuclear facilities in the world. They're scared of this thing. They're not going to tell you. No aliens haven't took us over. It's not the memes. We thought it was so big it seemed like aliens. It seemed like God. Come on now. Before enemy of the state or eagle eye or any of this stuff, this was going down. And every day someone invents a new part this thing needs to put us in the matrix. See, that's where this is leading to. It's leading to all the movies that you made are in its mind. And in all of the apocalypse and all of the movies, every computer, every alien, everybody who gets super intelligence comes to the same conclusion. Man is the problem. Get rid of man and all the problem stops. I don't like that. That it's inevitable that this thing is going to come to this conclusion. Why? I came to this conclusion. With all those mental notes and all that I said and done, there's only one thing wrong with the world. Mental illness. Every problem comes comes from somebody's mind not thinking right. So they did something that wasn't right. Now, here's the problem. Nothing is all bad. Before I reported that the AIs are sitting there in the warehouse stuck because they found a glitch. My glitch. What's my glitch? I'm the man who came along and says, there's not a single person alive that doesn't have mental problems. The whole entire world is insane ass backwards. That means the people that wrote the program for these AIs, who created them, who taught them, who schooled them, who tried to put a little bit of themselves in there, made a crazy super machine, just like their ass. Capable of having anxiety attacks. And all this here, you heard the reports, what they call rogue computers. These are from these people putting what you call human-like characteristics in them, which is the very definition, damn near artificial intelligence, a machine that exhibits human-like capabilities of thinking. Okay? That doesn't scare you to death. When you invented cloning, it got the idea to make its own people, since people were the problem. And no matter what mass attempts it did through media to hypnotize, brainwashed everybody, it's still, too many of them resisted. They were under the influence of alcohol, and when they sobered up, the program didn't stick. We were smoking weed, all kinds of things, where they could not just get a grip on everybody and have them walking around like zombies. No, there was 1,000 channels now, not 4. When the plan was made, it was only 4 networks. You could get everybody. Now, you don't know where they're focused at with the invention of YouTube. Kids don't even watch television. I'm telling you. If there's something they want to see on television, they'll watch it online on YouTube instead. When they want to watch it, to hell when it comes on. You can get them with new shows that are on YouTube. There are people walking around that aren't people. Some of them are androids. Some of them are clones. They were created and educated by this thing. They don't belong to the government. They don't belong to the... So now the thing has drones, planes, tanks, watching me right now on this notebook. See, you thinking about your limitations. You can only think about one thing at a time. That's not what kind of monster this is. It can watch everyone in the world at the same time and really pay attention to a detail. That's what makes it a monster. So, I was going to contact governments in different places because there's a lot more to this than I'm telling you. There's details. And then there's a plan on how to stop it, how to combat it, how to do all that. I usually don't read off any paper or do anything like that. But you guys are in a bad way, man. You know. Let me try to explain something to you. 2 major things that rule your world. Money and emotions, what you call sex and love and all that crap. And then money. Neither one of them are real. How can a such thing as emotions. You're like, what the hell you mean? I experienced it myself. I know for a fact there's no. You know something's going on, but you don't know what. Stop, think. Because you're finna feel real dumb. You need to shut up and stop and think. Because I'm finna make you seem real stupid if you're talking right now. Your heart doesn't do anything but pump blood. It doesn't feel anything, it doesn't think anything. It feels a heart attack. But it doesn't even, you don't even feel the blood flowing through your heart, talking about what you feel in your heart. These are thoughts in your head you're having. Someone mind fucked you, talking about in my heart, pointing down here. When something's happening in your head, no wonder you're so way off. What is emotions? You don't even know what E stands for. And evolve, eco, or ecology, or any of the things. This whole world is based on a letter called E before some words. And you know what those words mean, but you don't know what the E stands for. Like emotion. And I'm not finna tell you right now. You know what motion means. The motion part is the effect that these thoughts have on your body. Some of these thoughts are so intense, they make your heart beat fast. They cause nervousness. They cause water to come from your eyes. That's the motion. The tears, the heartbeat. That's the motion part. The rest of it happens in your head. People have lived and died for hundreds of years. Left out a simple truth. Lived a whole entire life and didn't know such a simple, important truth to their life. What a waste. Money doesn't exist. Bunch of paper, bunch of pictures of ugly dead people on it. No offense to any of their living relatives, but I really don't give a damn how you feel. They're ugly. Let's break this down. It's never been broke down. There are a group of people who once lived in caves. I'm not going to go into their origin and their history and all of that. And they keep making these movies like everybody used to live in these caves once upon a time. No one ever did but them. These caves were located in the Caucasus Mountains in what is called Asia, but it's really Russia. So they're called Caucasians. They're called Caucasians. I shouldn't even said that part because they're real sensitive, especially to the truth. Most of these lies are their doing. They really don't like you dispelling the lies. They treat you like you was a bad guy and shoot you in your head for telling the truth, telling people that they lied. They kill you for that because they have sick people amongst them too. Now, in those mountains, they had no plant life, no salt, which does things to you physically. Malnutrition, hereditary physical problems. If you were a caveman and you lived in the mountains, when everybody developed some system of barter, which they always do, even the insects, what did you have to barter with? It was the usual stuff. Take my daughter, a lot of people did we're talking about money. Their currency were rocks. Fantastic collection of rocks. Because rocks was all they had. So the first money was rocks. And when it came time to interact, way down the line, don't think this was like the same time, period. Because we existed without money. Most of the existence of this planet has been spent without money. Money has been here less than 6,000 years of the whole existence. How long have people been here living without it before 6,000 years? Don't even want you to think about how did they live without it. So rocks. And when they came with that bamboozle con job that you've come to know as plastic beads for Rhode Island. You remember that con job? Gave us plastic beads for Rhode Island and told us where they from, these are their greatest treasures. Con job, right? Well, that's what they did with the rocks. They came and they said, these rocks are our greatest treasure. And when they came into an area, the rarer those rocks were, the more value they said they had. They're just some damn rocks, right? People were trading apples with oranges and livestock. And they know nothing about this rock crap. These rocks is precious. This was backed up by flint. You could start a fire with this rock. Boom. It became valuable. Flint became valuable. Each rock found its own value into the way. Until they found out that gold melts down real easy and can be reshaped a lot easier than iron. Iron was really valuable. And then, poof, other alloys. Over time, but anyway. So, this is all the way graduated into the mind fuck of a piece of paper for your hard day's labor. I'm going to give you a fucking piece of paper. I'm not even going to give you a portion of what you've been making all day. Like that's how it used to be. You work all day in the orchard. You were given a portion of oranges, in which you go back and you trade for the things other things you needed to other people. It was your part, your share. Now they give you a piece of paper with some paintings of some ugly dead guys on it and tell you it's worth something. Remember back in the beginning when I told you we didn't have any money and they put you up for collateral? That piece of paper, there's nothing bagging it up. They say it's backed up by our society. Our society didn't agree to that. And if you ask any people, they were like, not me. You're not going to get me. You ain't going to be... They do act like they for sale, though, and I stop and think. I was getting ready to say, you're not going to get me for a piece of paper, but you could probably go and buy and sell any of these people for them damn pieces of paper because their mind is fucked. They don't realize it's just a piece of paper. It ain't even worth the wood that it came from. If you try to burn it, that ink will fucking make poison gas and kill you. So you can't even use it for Kindle. I'm not trying to destroy the money system. I'm telling you the truth. And those who think you have money, you know a little thing down there that says Federal Reserve? And you're thinking, hey, all our money's in there somewhere, like some secret bank we got. I haven't went and looked. I just seen words that said the Federal Reserve ain't even in the United States. It's in England. Yeah, that part. Separation of religion and state. We can't push any religion. Got to keep separate and neutral. And right on the front. In God we trust. And don't say Allah, Buddha. In God we trust. Just a Christian piece of paper. Look all over it. You'll see it. They used to make you put your hand on a Bible in court. They didn't give you a choice of which book. People had to make a big stink to fix that. So I'm trying to tell you what this was founded on. Why it isn't working. Why we're going to start over. I mean, from the ground floor up. When you start from the ground up, first thing you do is consider the ground. They didn't measure how much space and how many people can exist on that space if you put all these big ass structures up and if one person got miles of space all to themselves. They can't stand on nothing but a little square of earth at a time. I don't care how much money they have, but they have miles and miles to do nothing with. Not growing any crops, don't have herds of cows or nothing. Just a land on earth. Things are all out of whack. There are too many of them to note, to list in this note, which has already been the length of a movie. There's a monster and we're inside of it. It has us. Police must follow the radio. When you came up with auto-tune and all that, you gave it the ability to imitate our voice. Where it can imitate the dispatcher and send them out on imaginary calls. It can make them come to your house and shoot you down, kill you, don't give you a chance. That would scare you too. It has control. This goes down at the same time when we have another presence that has gobbled up everybody and has everybody scared. I'm pretty sure you already know about that. What's tripped me out is I didn't know. And it felt like the only person who didn't know. So remember I said nothing is all bad? Them damn head injuries. And nothing wants to inhabit an infected, sick person. So I want you to get rid of them all. They can't. Body snatchers can't do nothing with a sick body. So they just want you to get rid of them. So they make you think you're coming for a cure and they're killing people off. They make you think it's a worldwide pandemic so that you don't get alarmed at how many people that died. They were going to kill them anyway. This was just a smoke screen to cover. Say, hey, they died. COVID-19. Sick people, the names on the door. We're taking the names off the door and we're taking them the fuck up out of there. That's what the ones are. The one party. They're not Democrats. They're not Republicans. You know what one party means? They're just one party. Not a bunch of... Let me explain to you why this country doesn't work and really never has. You want to talk about the Bible? Since we brought it up, there's wisdom in that book. Regardless if it's the truth or not, about God or whatever, can't take away, you can't say Confucius is not wise. Buddha is not wise. Even if you don't adhere to the religion surrounding it. Can't say Jesus wasn't super good. A house divided against itself can't stand. So where did these buffoons think forming a Democrat and Republican Party and fighting every fucking 4 years throughout fucking infinity was ever going to come together and be something? It's an ongoing fucking fight, us against us. The red team and the blue team, the Bloods and the Crips. Republicans and Democrats. Look, one party, one gang, whatever you want to call it. Everything one. Now we go back to where we went off of the tangent. They told you had 5 senses. Truth of the matter is you only have one. The sense of touch. The sense of awareness through contact with something. In order to see, light has to touch your eye. In order to hear, vibrations must touch your ear. In order to smell, gases must touch your inner nose, ear, throat, or whatever. In order to taste, something must touch your tongue. In order to what you call feel, something must touch you. It's all touch. One thing, touch. It's just got 5 different ways to touch things. Still can't do anything without contact. It's the only thing you got the ability to make contact with that around you. And be aware. Semi-aware. But because when you see something, just because you see it that way doesn't mean that's the way it exists. I'm saying that it can really be red and you see green. Because your eyes are dependent on your eyes. And color is dependent on what lights bounce back that your eyes can see. All the lights are bouncing off. In other words, the cat may see it as red. You see it as green. The cow may see it as gray. Who's to say what color it really is and who gives a fuck? Function. Focus. Function. No, don't focus though. Because before I get out of here, I can't say things and let them hang. I can't contradict myself. Never focus. Okay? Focus is tunnel vision. You lose your peripheral vision and aware of everything around you, zeroing in on something. It's never a good thing. You get hit by a bus focusing. I don't know who came up with that. And you can never relax as long as you focus. Even the sound of the word and the thought in your mind causes tension. Like you got to zoom in and close in. No. You don't, that's not how your eyes work. Nor your ears. Things come to your eyes. Eyes ain't gotta go to it. That's what that focus is. Your eyes bulging out trying to go to the page instead of just sitting there letting the page come to your eyes, which is relaxing. Sitting there letting the sounds come to your ear instead of leaning, about to break your neck. That's what focus is. Pay attention. Don't pay anything. Life is free. This the SPS. The ones, the servants of all. You know me, and you know the rest. As your mind wanders, what did I just tell you? Basically what I told you this ain't a movie. You're already in the matrix. You're not in a tube with things attached to your head. That's old technology from old movie makers. You are wirelessly connected, not just through your phone. It studied all the waves going through the air, including brain waves, and it has its own form of telepathy, where it can put things straight in your head. No wonder everyone's scared. Have no fear. The superheroes are here.